Hello everyone, so this is GS Mains Paper 2, November 2017, Part 5. And this is the second last part. After that, there will be one more part and then we'll be done for GS Mains Paper 2, November 2017. Right? So let's start. So we have done up until 19 topics. So this is the 20th topic, that is wastewater and fecal sludge management, right? See, the thing is, I have written it in commas, inverted commas, right? What does it mean? Why I have written it? Because this is a theme. So this is a theme of what? This is the theme of the World Toilet Day that was celebrated on November 19th every year. So it was celebrated this year also as November 19th. Right, and the theme of this World Toilet Day was wastewater and fecal sludge management, right? See, the thing is, what you have to understand is, UPSC is not going to ask you the date, but they can always ask you the theme. They have earlier also asked the theme of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas and all those things. I'm talking about prelims here, right? So just try to remember the theme, because this thing isn't new, so do remember it. Maybe or may not be, they can ask you. They can ask it, right? So again, wastewater and fecal sludge management or fecal sludge management is the theme of World Toilet Day. Now again, prelims is fine, but this is also important from topic 10 and topic 12, because there are certain government policy regarding wastewater and fecal sludge management. Also, it is an issue related to social sector, right? So let's talk about it. See, the thing is, entire cycle of sanitation certainly begins with toilet, but it has to end with safe waste disposal, right? It's good that we are constructing toilets and Swachh Bharat mission and everything, but the thing is, safe waste disposal is also a very key component of sanitation. Now, what are the government policies regarding it? So the first policy was National Urban Sanitation Policy, which started in 2008, and this year only in 2017 they have also started fecal sludge and septage management. So do mention about these two policies whenever any issue on or any question on sanitation crops up, right? So after the National Urban Sanitation Policy in 2008, a national policy on fecal sludge and septage management, that is FSSM, was released earlier this year. And what are the states who are taking steps? So who are the states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Odisha? They are taking steps regarding this fecal sludge and septage management. So they are ahead of others, right? And it is not only the responsibility of central states. As homeowners and residents, our tanks and pits must be emptied regularly, thereby preventing any leaks and overflow. So we have to ensure that also. And we citizens must realize that focus needs to be on more than just health, right? And it needs to be more, we just don't need to focus more on means only on toilets. We need to take care about all these aspects also, whether waste disposal is being done in a proper manner or not, right? Because this is also related to sanitation and this is also related to hygiene. So that's what we are saying, that we citizens must realize that focus needs to be on more than just toilets. Fine. Okay. Now let's talk about electoral bonds and national electoral fund. Very important. Very important, right? Now again, we'll talk about very important from all point of view, prelims, mains, interview, everything. So try to understand it. Topic 7, representation of people's act, and topic 10, governmental policies. They can keep it here, right? Now people are talking about electoral bonds. We know about the positive aspects of electoral bonds, right? But again, what are the positive aspects of electoral bonds? If you talk about it, so the cash flow will be limited to a certain extent. That's what I can think about right now. Limited is, now this particular article is talking more about the limited aspects of, or what is the negative aspects of electoral bonds. And then we will try to see what is the way forward, because as a UPSC aspirant, your aim is not only to read about certain things, you should also know if electoral bond is bad, then what should be the way forward? How can we cleanse our politics, right? So then we'll talk about National Electoral Fund. Very enticing means concept. So if you understand National Electoral Fund, it will help you a lot in writing any questions related to representation of People's Act and cleansing of Indian politics, right? Okay, so let's talk about this particular topic. See, the thing is, what the author of this particular editorial is saying, that it is difficult to imagine a better instrument to ease the flow of black money into political parties than electoral bond. So electoral bond was introduced with the aim to prevent black money, but the author is arguing that this is totally it will not serve its purpose, rather it will ease the flow of black money into political parties. Now India is ranked 19th out of 180 countries in Paradise Paper Leaks, right? So we have heard about it. Names of very big celebrities are also popping up. So the thing is, so India is ranked 19 out of 180 countries in Paradise Paper Leaks. And bonds, the electoral bonds share two characteristics with tax havens. And what are those two characteristics? Secrecy and anonymity. So means these bonds, these electoral bonds will have two characteristics similar to tax havens like Mauritius, like Cyprus. What are those two characteristics? Secrecy and anonymity, right? So it is secret. Nobody is knowing who, like it is secret, right? We are not knowing how much money was given to whom or whatever. Anonymous also, because people, when they buy electoral bonds, they don't need to reveal their identity as such. Only banks will know that, and banks are not revealing that. We are basing our hypothesis on this, but again you will see there are certain flaws in it. Now, 255th Law Commission. Remember, Law Commission reports and ARC recommendations. They are very important. So do try to mention about it. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, it is the saying of 255th, that is 255th Law Commission report on electoral reforms. They observe that opacity in political funding results in lobbying and capture of government by big donors. So that's why you must have seen whenever certain political parties come, there are certain companies which try to work in a better way, or which try to capture the market in a bigger way, right? I'm not taking a name, but there are certain examples. There's a big company in telecom sector which is giving free data now and all those things. So you can see that there is a lobbying and capture of government by big donors. So maybe companies, so you can understand this whole thing, right? So that this is happening because of opacity in political funding, right? And this was about, and this is not my saying, this is saying by Law Commission 255th report, right? Now, according to an NGO, that is Association of Democratic Reforms, ADR, what they are saying that political parties 69% income comes from unknown sources. So simply put, transparency in political funding in India is very abysmal, right? Now, what are the thing is, electoral bonds, it will not be introduced as such. There will be certain amendments which will be made. Now, amendments around electoral bonds eliminate the 7.5% cap on company donation. Earlier, when people were donating or company were donating, there was a restriction that they can donate 7.5%, right? Now, that amendment has been eliminated, or that restriction has been eliminated by the proposed amendment, right? Also, there is another requirement which has gone. So also gone is the requirement for a company to have been in existence for 3 years. So earlier this was also a requirement that company has to be in operation for 3 or more years, only then they can donate. But now that this particular amendment, the proposed amendment, is also trying to remove that requirement. So now the thing is, it's fine. So we are trying to understand the negative aspects. So biggest negative aspect of electoral bond is, now only ruling party can ascertain which company is donated to opposition party. So anonymity argument falls flat as only government is in a position to harass. Now, we have always seen that secrecy and anonymity are two aspects, but anonymity doesn't work in the case of ruling party, because we know now bonds are issued by banks, right? So if you are purchasing or if you are delivering your bonds in anything, so bank can always reveal your identity if they want, or if ruling party pressurize them, right? So in a certain way, we can say that ruling party can ascertain which companies they donated to opposition party. So this electoral bond can be a tool to harass, right? So I hope you are understanding it. So these are all the negative points of electoral bonds. Now, what is the way forward? How can we cleanse Indian politics, right? So the way forward was suggested by former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi. What he has said? He has suggested a national electoral fund to which all donors can contribute funds which would be allocated to political parties in proportion to votes they get, right? So whatever donor you are, Reliance you are, Airtel you are, if you want to donate, great, donate it, and then it will go to an electoral fund, and according to the proportion of votes which political parties will be getting, they will be given their share, right? So this is fine, this is free and fair, right? Now, not only would this protect the identity of donors, it would also weed out that money from political funding. So this is the best thing, and I think this is a very great measure. Only issue is, we can argue that we don't want to give our money to a specific political party, we want to give it to other one, right? So that is the only flaw, right? That you want to donate, but you cannot donate to a specific political party. So that is a major flaw. Otherwise, it's totally fine, and we can always argue for implementation of this national electoral fund, right? So this is all about cleansing of Indian politics and governmental policies, right? And electoral bonds. So let's move to the next topic. Okay, now the thing is, this topic is again very important from prelims as well as mains point of view. Infrequent seatings of Parliament and State Legislature, right? Topic 5, Parliament and State Legislature. See, the thing is, Parliament and State Legislature need to meet more regularly. There are lots and lots of reasons why they need to meet more regularly. Because when they meet, it's not like they are taking out money from their own packet to devise that meeting, right? Exchequer's money is going on. Like if they keep on shouting in Parliament or State Legislature without doing any substantial work, it is our money which is going in the drain, right? Not theirs, right? So they need to meet more regularly and more productively, right? So parliamentary system provides a higher level of responsibility. And now let's try to understand parliamentary system vis-a-vis presidential system. Some people argue that parliamentary system is better, but we will try to see there are certain assumptions regarding it, right? So parliamentary system provides a higher level of responsibility as compared to presidential system, right, on government through daily assessment by members in the form of questions, resolutions, no confidence motion, adjournment motions, and debates on addresses. But this whole argument presupposes frequent sittings of parliament, which is not happening, and we'll try to see it through the prism of certain data. Now I think this in the initial days of our republic, Lok Sabha set for about 125 to 140 days a year, but Parliament has met for 65 to 75 days per year in the last couple of decades, almost half, right? And the thing is, we know about different things regarding prelims that there cannot be more than 6 months between two sittings of Parliament. So this data is important from prelims point of view. Are you understanding? Initial years of our republic, we're sitting twice the amount of time which we are sitting now, or which these lawmakers are sitting now, right? Right. And again, this was the data for Parliament, right? In data for 20 assemblies over the last 5 years has indicated that they meet for 29 days a year on average. So here they are meeting for 65-75 days, but in legislative assemblies in states, they are meeting for 29 days on average. So you can understand the plight there also, right? So it's not like Parliament is only meeting infrequently. Legislative assemblies are way worse than that. Now again, let's try to understand certain things from prelims point of view. So how many sessions are there? So there are 3 sessions defined, right? Budget session, monsoon session and winter session. Budget session generally runs from, or it is called between Feb to May, right? Monsoon session July to September and winter session November to December, right? But there's no fixed rule regarding it, right? Because we know this winter session started in December only, right? Because of the Gujarat election and vis-a-vis. But the thing is, this is fine, infrequent sittings and everything. Again, what is the way forward? Previous electoral bonds, we had seen the way forward. What is the way forward regarding this infrequent sittings? So there are 2 main things which we can do, or which can be a great way forward. First is, we have to, now who calls these sessions? So the calling of this session is done by the central government, right? So we have to dilute the power of government. First way forward is dilute power of government to be sole decider of session dates, right? So we have to dilute the power. It should not be like only government can decide when a session will happen, right? So what is the solution? Simple solution is to have a calendar of sittings announced at the beginning of each year, and this can be done, right? Initially in the January only, they can say that yeah, these 3 sessions will happen during this month, irrespective of which election is happening, etc., right? That way the power of government will be diluted to a certain extent to call session. So that can be done. And British Parliament have year-long session. So this was the first way forward. What is the second way forward? Second approach is, a different approach would be to allow a significant minority of members to call for a session, right? Like Pakistan Constitution requires a session of Parliament within 14 days if 1/4 of its membership demands one. So this can also be done, right? So if like whatever 550 members you have, 200 members are demanding a session, then it can be done, right? So that these criteria can also be set, right? So these are the 2 way forward. Hope you remember it, right? First is make a calendar at the beginning of each year regarding sessions. Second is, if certain number of members or minority number of members demand or call for a session, fix that number, fix that minority, right? So this is the time to tweak the rules of the game to strengthen the parliamentary system and ensure that key institutions such as Parliament and state legislatures are able to perform their roles more effectively, right? If we want to maintain a supremacy of parliamentary system vis-a-vis presidential system, we need to strengthen our sitting arrangement, and we need to, sitting arrangement, not the word is the correct word, need to, what do you say, we need to remove this infrequency which has happened in sittings of Parliament and state legislature, right? Okay. Okay, now let's talk about S. Rangarajan versus P. Jagjivan Ram. This was a case, right? Very important case, can be kept under topic 1, features of Indian Constitution, and 6, judiciary, right? Now, Supreme Court judgment in S. Rangarajan versus Jagjivan Ram stated that the court cannot cite concerns about a hostile audience in curbing freedom of expression under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, right? Now, why this particular thing is in news right now? Because of the Padmavati issue, right? We all know about it, right? Now, Article 19, Clause A, Subclause, Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, it talks about freedom of speech and expression, but there is also Article 19, Clause 2, which talk about restriction, right? Now, there has to be a balance between these 2 articles, right? You cannot keep on imposing Article 19, Clause 2 without any reason whatsoever, right? Just because there is a hostile audience, you cannot curb freedom of expression of others, right? Crores and crores of rupees are being wasted, right? And you are giving mental, people who are involved in the whole process, they're going into a mental turmoil, right? So this is not right. Whatever is happening is not right, and you can always cite this particular case to justify your argument that freedom of expression should not be curbed at each and every single, there is a group of people and they started demanding something and you curb the freedom of expression. That is not the way to go, right? Fine. So I hope you understand this S. Rangarajan versus P. Jagjivan Ram. If you cite certain cases, it adds more charm to your answer. Plus, there is a very small, minuscule probability that it can be asked in prelims also. Very, very low probability. Even if they will ask you about more important cases like P. Keshwanand Bharti or Keshwanand Bharti, Indra Sahani, lots and lots of other cases are there. So they can ask you about this, but again, remember this. This was in news, so it becomes important. Now there are some certain one-liners, Mandamus. Now we talk about different writs, right? Under Article 32 and 226, right? So this is one of the writs, right? So Mandamus means we command, right? Others are habeas corpus certiorari and quo warranto, but we won't talk about it. We'll talk about Mandamus. So Mandamus is we command. Who is issuing it? It is issued by court to public officials. Remember it. Mandamus is not issued for private officials. Becomes very important from prelims point of view, and it cannot also be issued against president, governor, or chief justice of High Court or Supreme Court, right? Supreme Court, it's obvious, but also High Court, right? So it is issued by court to officials. Means public officials, not private officials, and it cannot be also issued against president, governor, or chief justice of High Courts, right? So this is Mandamus. And what is Punchhi Commission and National Security? First of all, Punchhi Commission is on which particular issue? It is on center-state relation. Remember, important from prelims point of view. And what they have said about national security. So the Punchhi Commission report said that national security as a subject is not specified in any of the three lists, right? So national security does not lie in a union, state, or concurrent list. But in the case of communal rights, the use of Article 355 may be in order. So they are saying that if there is certain issue on national security or communal rights, so you can use, or government can use Article 355. And what is Article 355? It is that Article 355 specifies that it is a duty of union to protect state against external aggression and internal disturbance, right? Always keep a constitution with you in soft copy or hard copy. It helps a lot, right? So this was all about the part 5. There will be one more part, and then we'll be done for GS Mains paper 2, and we'll move on to GS Mains paper 3 November edition, right? Fine. Thanks.